Welcome back to Go Produce My Crew. My name is Big Lou, and this is the podcast and YouTube channel that explores how music industry professionals turn their passions into profit. We are on a massive mission to bring clarity to the music industry, and our goal is to help 1 million music industry professionals live off of their passion. I'm laying down the foundation that I need in order to thrive in the music industry, and I want to help you do the same. This episode is brought to you by thecharts.com. If you're a producer or beat maker looking to build your beat commerce business in less time, thecharts.com can help. With an easy-to-use, mobile-friendly interface and built-in marketing tools, thecharts.com will help you grow your brand, build your fan base, and scale your income. Sign up for free and start selling your beats and instrumentals today on thecharts.com. Today's theme is, how do you maintain the front lines of this turbulent music industry as a DJ? Let's go. Okay, Go Produce. We've got Vybe Kingz Entertainment. They are an Canadian-based urban cultural entertainment company founded in 2015 by Odanga and Chad Wickham. Vybe Kingz consists of DELO, DJ Wickham, and DJ Cool. After meeting earlier in 2015, they quickly embarked on several collaborations as DJs, creating a buzz within London, Ontario. Subsequently, Vybe Kingz was formed as a true testament to their style and vision. I firsthand approve of that message. Vybe King's mission is to become a leader in urban cultural entertainment worldwide. Go Produce. This is DJ Wickham. This is DJ DELO, and they are 2/3 of the Vybe Kingz. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's an honor to have you here. Yes.
Love that intro. Thank you.
Oh, so much energy. It's purely big vibes
really
here.
Appreciate the intro.
I like it. Thank you so much for being here. I want you to know that we do appreciate both of your time so much. So let's make the most of it and go produce.
Amazing.
Awesome.
All right. Let's do it. Our first segment of the show is called The Basics. Yes. I like the groove. We're grooving. No hesitation at all. I like it. All right, gentlemen, this is open discussion. Both of you can answer it. Maybe if one person takes the lead, that's totally cool. But I'd like both of your perspectives for here. What is your first musical memory?
My first recollection of music, I think, was it was Fast Car. Tracy Chapman. Actually, my mom apparently used to play that album even before I was born. So I think I was really listening to it while I was, even to date, when I listen to that song, I just get like chills. And I listen to Tracy Chapman, like her greatest hits album, when I'm focusing, trying to study, or just like lounging, so yeah, that's my first recollection of music. And then
such a great story. She's got such a serene and calming voice. What about you, Chad?
Our first gig together, Vybe Kingz' first gig, and it was interesting because that was it was that whole experience, and it was my first gig. So for me, it was like all I could remember is the energy. I know it was in the house of the Barking Frog, and it was a CSO event, and I was part of the CSO exec, and that was what I would call my most inspiring, most memorable music experience, because that was where my whole career in music started. And so that's my answer.
That's a big answer. I mean, both of those are very influential answers, and I want to add to that or dissect them a little further in terms of Tracy Chapman. Like, do you think that passion or that appreciation of her music at that age, DELO, led to your development further into music, and then also that passion that he was able to harness throughout his life, and then when you met and you worked together on the same stage, Chad, DJ Wickham, do you think that influenced how you began seeing music and how you began pursuing the career in a different light, perhaps?
Tracy Chapman's a girl, by the way.
Did I say him? I'm here trying to manage a lot of things here.
No, I got that.
I did say earlier that her voice is serene and tranquil. I did say that. Yeah. Yes.
It happens, man. It happens. To answer your question, actually, that's a really interesting question. I think music has a great influence in how, I guess how we come up, you know, as youngins, whatever you're listening to. Even if I want to be in a creative space, I'll listen to Tracy Chapman or you know, something similar to that, and it just zones me in, and I'll get right into it. I think what it boils down to is just like vocals and you know, how you can use that to inspire young people growing up and wanting to get into the music industry, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. Vocals themselves are another tool. And so she's able to attach her instrument to that emotion that resonates so deeply with so many people, which is truly powerful. And we're all so fortunate to have that. What is the first lesson that each of you learned whilst in the music industry itself?
People will look at music as like, they'll be like, just take it as a joke, if for lack of a better word. At the end of the day, as Vybe Kingz, we look at it as a business, and that's how we treat it. So like, I don't see our business being far different from, in terms of the business aspect, from like, say, an accountant or a lawyer. Yes, it's creative, but I think the core value of it still boils down to what a typical business should be like. And I think that's one of the lessons that we learned.
I think my biggest lesson when I started was you got to be your own champion. You gotta really, you can't really expect people to like what you do. You just have to realize that your own gift is your own, and you actually just have to bring it forward and make the best of it.
Both so critical lessons. If you don't champion yourself, and you don't convince yourself that you can actually do this, no one else is going to believe that you can do this. No one else should believe that you can if you don't believe that you can. So both of these are very valuable lessons. Thank you for that, gentlemen. We're going to be moving into the speed round.
Speed round? What? What?
Yes. So we're going to have some fun with this. What it looks like is I've got 20 questions prepared for you. They're going to be tossed to you in rapid fire succession. You have to answer them with one word. So
pressing the red button.
Ready.
Exactly.
Ready.
No turning back.
Ready.
All right. Remember, one word. Do you prefer to read or watch movies?
Watch movies.
Wickham, the worst part of DJing is? If movie is to watch, then Netflix is to?
Binge.
Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
DELO, Wickham is the better DJ.
False.
What is your favorite time of day?
Morning.
Morning.
At the end of the day, you want a nice big glass of?
I have so many things in my mind.
It is called the speed round, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, called out. Okay, let's pick it back up here. DELO, right. The best part of DJing is?
Watching people having fun.
Who's an artist that you currently find the most exciting?
Sorry, pick an artist quick.
What's your favorite snack?
Chips.
Wickham, where are you from?
Popcorn. Barbados.
Where's your next vacation spot?
Barbados.
Do you have any nicknames?
No.
Hello?
Wickham.
Wickham.
Oh.
Sorry.
Wickham. DELO is the better DJ.
Yes.
Oh, I was hoping for some more controversy here. What is your favorite animal or plant?
Cannabis.
Dog.
Where is your favorite place in the world? Before we finish, can we go back to what is your favorite animal or plant? And you said Canada.
Cannabis.
I took that.
Cannabis. He's a cannabis.
Oh, I should have caught on. All right. We're almost through. DELO, where are you from?
Kenya.
Would you go to the moon?
No.
What is your favorite genre of music?
Soca.
Nightclubs, virtual stages, or festivals?
Festivals.
Festivals.
All right, gentlemen, we made it through the 20 questions.
Oh my God.
Thank goodness, yeah.
I now see how people feel on game shows.
I know, man.
Where do you not get that? Like,
That's
Crazy.
awesome. That's
That's
awesome.
crazy.
I love running people through this because you never know what you can expect on both ends, honestly. I just
Yeah.
mumble sometimes. Perfect. Out of those questions, I asked what was the worst and the best part of DJing. 30 seconds on this before we move on to the next one. What are your takes on this? Like, worst part and best part.
the best part of DJing, I'll start with that because the easy one, is the response, people's response to the music. I feel like that's where where my energy comes from, and where my appreciation for it really comes from is just seeing people's reactions. And so that's it for my best. Delano, what do you think?
Can I talk about the worst?
You can say worst or best and or, yeah.
Oh yeah. So for me, worst part of DJing is really getting paid well for gigs, right? And sourcing the gigs. I started doing this myself, and I had to go ham and do all these things, and nobody really like got back to me. And it's just, yeah. So I would say really just getting the right gigs and getting paid well for it.
I actually thought you were going to say the worst part of DJing was all the people coming up to you being like, "Hey, play this next. Hey, play this next." Be like, no, thanks. Move along. But
I think one of the worst experiences I had on that note is people coming over to the DJ booth and spilling drinks over equipment. I that happened a couple of times, and I had to physically push people away, and I didn't like that day. It was terrible, but it's
it's that Tracy Chapman crowd, hey, that gets super rowdy.
I'm telling you, man. You never know, man. As soon as people have a few drinks, people turn into different, it's a whole different place.
I like people coming for requests dependent. It depends. Because I feel like requests give me an idea. It depends on how much people are asking. It gives me an idea of if the crowd is enjoying it. So if it's one person coming all the time, I'm just like, okay, fine. But if I'm getting like a billion people cycling to me asking for requests, then I'm like, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But I also see it as a challenge in some cases. Is like if they ask me for requests, I see it as, can I get this song played at some point throughout the night? And I'll try my best to do it.
And I'm sure so many DJs out there can relate to that. Mm-hmm. Our next segment is called What's Yo Take?
I don't know
if I'm ready for this.
I don't know. I think we've been doing well so far. So what we're going to be doing here, I'll explain it to you, is I'm going to present you with a couple of different statements or scenarios and simply just present your perspectives. What's your take on collaborative work as DJs?
It's funny because collaborations is one of our goals for this year. And it's because we see it as very instrumental to our growth as a business. Because it's like we can't do this thing on our own, being one thing. But two, we still want to learn. We want to gain experience. And the best way, we could read stuff, we could watch videos, but I feel like the easiest and the most organic way to gain information is collaborating with others, taking in how they do things, figuring out why they do certain things a certain way, and just that whole experience of building a relationship with someone else in the industry.
I would say Vybe Kingz is born out of a collaboration, right? And it's a perfect collaboration of Africa and the Caribbean. So when we put it all together, it's just really just a cultural vibe, and we both enjoy the same kind of music. And like DJ Wickham said, our goal has always actually been to collaborate. We've been doing it for a while, but we want to stretch even further and collaborate with even more people. It's how you grow, man. You either learn from what they do, what they say, whether it's good or bad. You just take it with a grain of salt, and you move on. Yeah,
you take that next step. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a very full answer. Could you give us an example of a partnership? You don't have to say any names, but something that, let's say, it expired. The partnership is no longer. What did you learn from that experience? How did you handle it? That kind of stuff.
We had a contract with this partner, and basically at the end of the day, the partner breached the contract at the end. And then we realized, you know what? Like, we have this contract. We could contractually we could file a lawsuit, but would it be worth the time and effort? And so we had to boil back and look at it and be like, look, not only the partnership kind of didn't go well, the event itself, there was a whole controversy behind it. But what we really learned from that situation was how to deal with future relationships, and also how to deal with a loss. Because I would feel that was our first loss, and to us it was a major loss. But in the grand scheme of things, when you hear people's downfall stories, it honestly wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
it wasn't that bad in the grand scheme of things.
You're gonna have to experience it though, hey? Absolutely.
Yeah. Like you said, the getting back up is the hardest part. I think the learning experience with dealing with those kind of relationships is very crucial, especially when you're starting out. I think sometimes we look at people who've made it, however they've done it, right, and we set expectations so high that that whenever something small happens, that wasn't what we planned. It becomes such a big, huge deal, right? So I think we learned a lot from that experience. It was going to be one of our biggest gigs, but it fell apart, and it was like a plane that crash landed, on the day of the event. So we won't get much into it, but it was terrible. It was terrible. I think the biggest lesson for me is, and this is a quote, I don't remember who said it. I'm going to say it anonymous, but it's be yourself because everybody else is taken, right? And that is very important in how I've always tried to carry myself. Now, not always, because when you're, DJing is one of those careers, like most artists, right? Where as you're coming up, you're just picking any gig that comes, right? You're just trying to build your name, trying to do whatever, right? So you're picking up all these gigs. But as my advice to DJs, as you're doing that, have a goal in mind, right? This is not about, even though, at the end of the day, it's almost about popularity, right? You want your name to be out there, but don't let it be about celebrity. Let it be about the talent and the vibe that you're bringing, and the people will appreciate that. You don't have to be the DJ for everybody. You have to be
find your niche and market towards
find
them.
your niche. That's it.
That's beautiful.
The quote was issued by Oscar Wilde.
Thank you.
There it is.
There you go. There we go.
Grumpy sound guy crushing it.
I like that.
Nice.
You
I
sound,
like that. Okay,
you sound
cool.
surprised.
No, you're right. You're right. I apologize for this too. Okay, so we got one more question on what's your take, but we got to do this super quick before our next two segments. And this one is on monetization as a DJ outside of performances. Are there any like streams of revenue that DJs often miss?
A lot of DJs miss is right in front of them, stuff that they do every day. For example, creating DJ drops is an example. So a lot of DJs actually create their own drops, record their own voiceovers for their mixes. Is that they never think of the fact that, look, I do this, I do this for myself, and I enjoy doing it. Or maybe you might not enjoy it fully, but you gain the talent of doing it. So it's that could be one of your streams of income. You could create drops for other DJs, for producers. You could do radio commercials, TV commercials. As long as you gain that experience of having that presence, that voice, why not?
Blogging and vlogging. I know a lot of, some DJs are starting to do that a lot more because of the virtual space that we're in. but I'm going to speak more about blogging, which is something that even I want to say that I've been wanting to do, but I haven't done. And that's just really when you look at your experience and talking about your experience and being able to share tips and techniques and tools and just all these things, right? Like, because technology changes everything, and every industry shifts with technology. Like, so when you get into the blogging space, the content creation space, in that sense, you're actually educating people, but you're creating a potential revenue stream from that too.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, every single one of those revenue streams counts.
For sure.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Awesome. That is What's Your Take. You see, it wasn't so bad.
No, it wasn't bad. It was good. It was good.
All right.
It happens when you have a good host. It makes it easy.
Cheers, guys.
So
we got our next segment here. Was that Grumpy?
So this is very hard.
This is very hard. I make it hard. Gentlemen, our next segment is called Community Queries.
Here we go.
Hey, here we go. What this looks like is I've got a couple of fans that actually submitted a couple of questions ahead of time, and I'm going to be sharing them with you. Okay, so the first person that asked you a question is DJ Saza. He's from New Zealand. He's a DJ born in New Zealand, but he lives in London, Ontario now.
Yo, what's going on? Sam Harris here. My name's also Saza when I DJ and whatnot. Question for you. What do you do in order to keep, your vibes up, get that music flowing? Like, what goes into it behind you in your mind to kind of figure out where and how you get your music to make sure that when you're playing, you're able to, have those tracks that'll keep the crowd bumping? Curious. Cheers, bud.
We like to find hidden gems. First of all, we like to find music that we expect will make people bump, but people would likely not know it. So, but the way how we normally would do that is we have subscriptions, like most DJs, we have subscriptions to DJ pools and everything. But DELO and I, we meet twice a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, and our Thursday is so Tuesdays we call Tech Tuesday, Thursday we call Business Thursday. But on the Thursday, before we start Business Thursday, we do something called Songs of the Week. And at that point in time, that's basically where we discuss. Some of them might not be hidden gems. Some of them might be what we expect will be summer bangers. They might be top charters. But we have that discussion between each other to understand, okay, DELO, from your side of things, all the music that you took in this week, what were the top 5, top 6, top 10 songs that you heard and why? And we have that discussion. And then we go from there, and that usually those songs end up in our library, and then we test it with our audience to see how they respond. So we've learned over the years to find software that basically helps to have our song levels, adjust our song levels, being one thing, and give us additional data that people normally wouldn't get from music. Certain data, like, for example, a good one is energy. That's a good example of a piece of data that people typically won't see on a track.
You said energy?
Energy, yeah, literally energy, as in would this make you feel like hype, or would this make you feel like sad? But it's not your typical, we could listen to music and try to figure it out ourselves, but we get that the actual data number that indicates that how hype a track is.
All right. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for that, gentlemen. That was DJ Saza. You can find him on Instagram at DJ Saza1. Our next guest is Laura Lee. She's a music enthusiast and an event coordinator. This is her question.
What are some new age self-care habits that you personally have adapted in order to stay motivated and continue to see the light at the end of the tunnel?
It's a good question, but step away from music for a couple of days, and do something different. Try a different avenue of art. or it maybe not necessarily art. It could be even reading a book, or listening to a podcast, or designing, painting, just something else other than music. I feel like what that does is, because there's so much tune, there's so much music coming out, there's so much pressure coming from left, right, and center of you trying to keep up with everything. You can ease off that pressure by taking a day off. It
goes a long
way,
hey?
Yeah, it definitely. Honestly,
Wow.
It definitely does, because it hypes you up differently when you get back to listening to music and getting yourself back in the game.
Take one step back to take two steps forward sometimes.
For
Exactly. Sure. We are running very close on time. We have one more fan question. I don't want to skip him. His name is G-Tech. That was shout out to Laura Lee. Thank you one more time. Shout out Laura Lee. You can find her
shout out.
load_dal, DAL. This is G-Tech. He's a music artist in Brampton.
What up? It's your boy G-Tech. My question is, are DJs an essential resource and connection for music artists in order to connect with and distribute their music in different platforms such as clubs, radio stations, or Spotify playlists?
Like we could basically hype up any track, given the right motivation and everything. There's one thing to hear a song that's played on the radio, but when you start to hear songs getting mixed together, getting samples, drops, a couple of pull-ups, shout-outs on the microphone, I think that adds personality and value to music more than literally just playing it or streaming it on Spotify. And so that's where I see DJing being valuable when it comes to artists and helping with distribution of music.
We are into our final segments. This is Clear the Air.
Woo! Oh no.
Right. Well, he's ready. What we're going to do here is we're going to bring some clarity to these slightly denser questions. We spoke a little bit about virtual performances already and how they are a little bit different in terms of reading the crowd, bringing energy. So I just want to spend a little bit of time here asking you, how do you pick up on the emotion from the people around you? Is it the fire emojis, like you said earlier? Are you getting feedback from other people directly? How does that work? Are you communicating with each other, perhaps on a separate medium during the show, so that you can like navigate that? What do you guys do? How do you do that virtually?
Yeah, I think it's all about the interaction with people on the various platforms. Interaction is big now, like the fire emojis, but beyond that, just people coming in, and even like when you see people interacting on the chat. I think that's a huge deal. And if someone tells you like, yo, that's a big track or whatever, or pull up, you pull it up and and you just do it.
Our first goal as creating a virtual event is try to find out how many different ways we could get feedback from people. Of course, the typical way in the chat, which is through emojis, comments, everything. Another way that we've done it too is feedback surveys. You get the surveys, but that's after the event. So, of course, it doesn't help you when you're right there in the mix, but it helps for the next one, because you want to improve on areas that it might not be a one thing that is right. Like say a song that you play, the feedback surveys help to kind of like long-term improvements.
I really liked the email feedback system that you both implemented with your live stream, which we can transition to next. Actually, I want to talk a little bit about Synergy Sundays. That's where the live stream transition or the live stream email follow-up feedback system came into play. But before we do, let's spend 2 minutes on Lux Carnival, because I know this is very exciting as well. You're a resident DJ there, DJ Wickham. So what is this? What is Lux Carnival?
No, thank you for asking that question. Lux Carnival is an international carnival entity. That's the best way for me to put it. They started as, they're actually based in Toronto and based in Canada. And the owner was born in Barbados. And they started off with like doing Crop Over, which is our carnival in Barbados. Started off with that. Being part of it, being a band as part of it, but their Lux is in situation now where they want to grow. They want to start doing a bit more. So the focus right now is on April 2022, and they're doing something called an escape, a spring break weekend. So it's something that like there's so many that are going on right now. It's actually a really popular thing going on right now, but is not happening as frequently in the Caribbean. It's happening a lot in like Miami, Mexico, and so on and so forth. There's been a lot of them, but essentially to condense things, the whole idea is that you encourage people to go on a vacation, a trip for like say just a weekend, where everything is all inclusive. Everything is pre-planned. When you show up, you have hotels. You have access to hotels, and you have a whole series of events.
In terms of rates through resident DJing and then DJing as an independent, do they vary? Is it comparable? Like, what are the pros and cons?
Critical part about resident DJing versus like doing one-offs or getting booked for especially whatever is the consistency, and having a consistent space, a consistent partner or partners, I think is advantageous to your fan base. Your fan base would know if they want to like connect with you, they know that you'd be doing this particular residency. If it's not like mine, if it's like more like a club residency, for example, they know interesting people, fans, potential business partners know that they can find you at this place at this time, however often you do it, and they know that they could connect with you through that medium. And so I think that's the really critical advantage versus the disadvantage. And I think
more pros and cons to it, but that's a great way to put it. Whether you want the consistency and the convenience, but at the same time, do you want to be tied down to a place? So different things that DJs can be thinking about there. Very cool. Last item that I want to clear the air on, Synergy Sundays. What is the idea behind this? And then struggles. I want to know big struggles, and I want to know tips for DJs trying to do something similar for this before we wrap it up.
So Synergy Sundays was a sort of idea that we came up with back in 2017. But we wanted to create a space where, we could bring in music for the culture. So African music, Caribbean music, and just kind of fuse all the cultures and create a space for that. Because that's something that wasn't really happening in London, Ontario, except for, Sunfest, which, that's a separate thing. Same,
but different.
Same, but different, right? So, and we had a target demographic and all these things, right? So we did that, and it was a very successful sort of event. But, same year, 2017, I believe, or 2018, we kind of left London, both of us. I moved to Toronto. DJ Wickham moved elsewhere as well. So we didn't actually get to do it again. And we had been planning to do it, subsequent years, but it never really broke down. 2020, I think, was the year that we were like, maybe we could bring this back, because it was, by popular demand. It's just not because of us, but people were asking for it. But then the pandemic hit, and that's when we were like, you know what? We could actually use the virtual space, the Instagram live stream, and bring it back and then do something that can, create the same kind of vibe that we did and make it strictly for the culture. So Synergy Sundays was a brunch event that came from that. So we did a Sunday brunch event, and it was started off on Instagram Live, but now it's on Twitch, it's on Cloud, it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube. And we're it's expanded to just being not just us DJing, but we're also involving other DJs and other artists as well. So that's the genesis of Synergy Sundays. So
Synergy Sundays. I like that so much, because it's always a cool story to hear entrepreneurs, triumph past their different struggles. Maybe you didn't want to continue on IGTV, and then none of this would be, it's that kind of thing. What challenges have you faced, Wickham?
Challenges.
Yeah. Biggest challenge.
One big challenge is, of course, technical difficulties, and copyright.
I just want to say that I'm for hire.
Ah.
All right.
He's not always happy
There we
here.
go.
We got that.
That's
Noted.
No, but yeah, technical difficulties, hey? Is there
Technical
anything that you can do to
difficulties?
like plan around that? Sorry.
So
yeah.
that was the evolution. So when we transitioned from Instagram Live to what we're doing now, technical difficulties went from here right now. So right now, I would say our technical difficulties is literally comes from us trying to do extra stuff.
Yeah.
And it's very minimal, very, very, very minimal technical difficulties that we have. Is literally the only thing that we encounter is copyright. But again, those two things we address by using our current format. So I would say, yes, we had those issues, but our current Synergy Sundays format basically dissolved them for the most part. And that's, to keep it simple and short, that's it there.
And there's a format that you had to like over time devise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So and that's why we changed platforms. It's because we weren't happy with the scenario of getting dropped off copyright all the time. Having being limited to 1 hour sets. That was the thing with Instagram. Yeah. And then relying on like interaction wasn't as simple and flexible. And so all those things, including the quality of the actual stream itself, flexibility with like being able to do HD quality streams, being able to do like highest like 320K, 256K audio. That all came from switching over to our new system, which we're happy that we went through all of that to get here. And
you have to.
Definitely.
You have to.
Definitely. And there's lots more to learn.
Yeah.
Always more.
It's painful, but it's satisfying. So two more here. One of the questions that I have is the one biggest tip that you can give other DJs trying to do something similar to you. And then what do you have next in store as Vybe Kingz?
Create something that's uniquely yours. Be authentic. That's the word. Authentic and stick with it. Because, when we started Synergy Sundays, we weren't nearly as close to the numbers that we're getting now. We didn't get the kind of interaction that we were looking for, but we stuck by it, we stuck through it, and we've got to a space where we can say, based on the insights that we've been collecting over time, that we're experiencing steady growth, right? But that's the other thing. Monitor your growth. Look at it as something that you're building. Synergy Sundays is a regular event. If you're doing a one-off event, it's different. But if it's a regular event, monitor the progress, because that's the only way you know whether you're doing well or, if there's something you need to change. How do you do it? And that's why we've been able to switch platforms. We've been able to figure out any technical. We went from DJs to like audio visual technicians. You know what I mean?
Wearing all of the hats. You're wearing all of the hats. You got to though.
So, and marketing and all that stuff. So yeah, I would say that's a big tip. Would be that for sure.
Absolutely. Big takeaway.
And
yeah.
I was gonna say last quick tip. Keep it really short. Is start within your means. Start with the basics.
Yeah.
The way how I look at it.
Yo.
Sorry, I heard the basics, so it's like muscle memory. I'm bad.
That's the first segment.
Nice.
Yeah, he's usually asleep back there. Okay. Yeah. So start with the basics, which is why we start with the basics. Clever guy.
I like that.
I love it. And last thing about that is when it comes to live streaming, what I consider the basics is excellent audio, excellent video. Add the bells and whistles after. Add the extra cameras, the extra overlays, green screen. Do all that stuff after you have the best audio and video that you could get. Go ahead and do all the other fancy stuff after. And so that's my tip.
That's huge though. Get the fundamental right.
Fundamentals. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a master of the fundamentals, and everything else could get added onto that.
That's huge.
From there.
I like that. And what's next?
So this is really super cool for us because it's not giving us the platform to be able to speak our minds freely, and also the questions that you're asking are really provoking, they're very open-ended, and that's really, really great. We definitely would like to have another conversation with you. Maybe perhaps we'll plan that.
But clearly we can't stop talking.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but so yeah, that's those are I think the final words. And I don't know, DJ Wickham, if you want to add or if you want to talk about where you can find us.
I'll talk about where you can find us. All VYBEKINGZ. You search that in Google, you'll probably find every platform we're on. Apart from that, we have a website in the works, which will be coming soon, and merch on the way.
Also,
so you're gonna have to let me know. Sorry, go ahead. You had the links. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say also just individually, we also do have our platforms as well. DJ Wickham has his platforms at DJ Wickham Music. And I'm sure he's going to have, he has a show that he's going to be doing on Twitch. So stay tuned to that. Myself, my platforms at Just Call Me DELO. I also have a show that I'm starting next week on Twitch exclusively. So just find me at Just Call Me DELO. It's still a Vybe Kingz production, but we're kind of splitting to do things in a splitting and spreading.
I like it. You grow faster like that. DJ Wickham, DJ DELO, thank you so much. 2/3 of the Vybe Kingz, we out. This episode is brought to you by thecharts.com. If you're a producer or beat maker looking to build your beat commerce business in less time, thecharts.com can help. Remember that you can sign up for free and start selling your beats and instrumentals today at thecharts.com. Big shout out to all parties involved. You can find more value at our website at goproduce.ca. Connect with me on Instagram at go.produce. If you're on YouTube, hit subscribe. If you're on Apple or Spotify, make sure to hit download. This will really help us grow our community. I'm Big Lou, and this is Go Produce.